Solve this equation and I'll marry you, Professor laughed, then froze when the janitor solved it. The university hallways echoed with late-night footsteps, soft whispers, and the quiet hum of fluorescent lights. Most students had already left, but the mathematics department stayed lit long after sunset. Inside room 214, chalk dust floated like snow, and a man in worn boots and an old gray uniform pushed a mop across the floor. His name was Elijah Ward, 40-7 years old. Quiet, polite, invisible. Students passed him like he was part of the walls. Professors never looked twice, and Elijah didn't mind at least. That's what he told himself. But tonight, something felt different as he cleaned near the lecture hall. He overheard laughter, sharp, arrogant, echoing. Dr. Leonard Hayes stood at the board, surrounded by graduate students. He was brilliant, rich, and wildly full of himself. His suits cost more than Elijah's paycheck. His ego could barely fit inside the building. Tonight, he had an audience he wanted to impress. Among the students stood Dr. Sophia Ramirez, a visiting scholar, brilliant, humble, and far more respected than Hayes ever would be. Hayes was desperate to impress her. Everyone could see it. He tapped the chalk dramatically. "Ladies and gentlemen," he announced, "this is the unsolved problem that has baffled mathematicians for decades." The students leaned forward on the board was an impossibly complex equation, symbols twisting across the slate like vines. A millennium problem. Hayes puffed out his chest. "If anyone here can solve this, I'll personally hand over my job." Then he smirked at Sophia. "Solve this equation, Dr. Ramirez, and I'll marry you myself." Students laughed. Sophia rolled her eyes. "Leonard, stop joking. It's not a joke," he said, grinning. "Though we all know no one here can solve it." More laughter. Behind them, Elijah paused, leaning on the mop handle, studying the equation quietly. He knew it. He knew all of it. He had seen it before years ago, when he was a graduate student himself, before his life had collapsed, before tragedy broke him and forced him to leave everything behind. He swallowed hard. A part of him, the part he buried long ago, stirred awake. Hayes clapped his hands. "Come on, anyone. Impress me." Silence. Then Hayes spotted Elijah at the door. "Oh, look," he sneered. "Even the janitor wants to give it a try." Laughter exploded in the room. Elijah blinked, embarrassed. But then something happened. Sophia glared at Hayes. "Stop it. He's working." But Hayes wasn't done humiliating him. "Tell you what, janitor," Hayes laughed. "If you can solve this, I'll step down as department chair. Hell, I'll even buy you a house." The room roared. Elijah felt heat rise in his chest. He didn't want detention, didn't want trouble, didn't want memories of who he used to be, but humiliation that he could not swallow. Not tonight, not again. He stepped forward quietly. "May I?" The laughter died instantly. Hayes smirked. "You serious?" Elijah nodded. Sophia softened. "You don't have to prove anything to him." Elijah didn't answer. He walked slowly to the board, his pulse steadying. He picked up a piece of chalk with hands that had once held academic awards, hands that once wrote mathematical proofs that stunned conferences, hands that had not touched a chalkboard in 15 years. The room held its breath. Elijah began writing. Not fast, not dramatically, but with quiet confidence, line after line. He transformed the problem, reducing impossible expressions into clear steps. Students leaned in, eyes widening. This wasn't guesswork. This wasn't luck. This was master-level reasoning. Sophia whispered. "My God." Hayes' smirk faded. Elijah continued racing, rewriting, simplifying until the final line appeared. The solution. Perfect, elegant, undeniable. The room exploded into stunned gasps. Hayes stumbled forward. "No, that's impossible." One student rushed to check the work. Another photographed it, comparing it to published research papers. "It's correct," a student choked. "It's actually correct." Sophia covered her mouth, speechless. Hayes looked like the ground had disappeared beneath him. Elijah stepped back from the board and gently set down the chalk. "I didn't mean to cause trouble," he said softly. "I just couldn't let you mock people like that." The room was silent. Then Sophia broke the silence. "How did you learn this?" Elijah hesitated, but for the first time in years, he told the truth. "I used to be a mathematician. I was finishing my PhD. A breath. But then my wife got sick. I quit everything to take care of her. Sold the car, sold the house. When she passed, I didn't have the strength to go back. So I took whatever job would let me disappear." His voice cracked, but he steadied himself. "This one let me disappear quietly. Not a sound in the hall." Even Hayes looked ashamed. Sophia's eyes softened. "Elijah, you are extraordinary." Hayes snapped back to life. "This proves nothing. You got lucky." A student shook his head. "Sir, his solution is this is groundbreaking." Another added, "It's worthy of a publication in any top journal." Hayes panicked. "I never agreed to." "You did?" Sophia cut in sharply. "You promised your job." Hayes opened his mouth, but the dean appeared at the doorway, having been called by frantic students. He stared at the board with disbelief. "Elijah," the dean said carefully, "did you solve this?" Elijah nodded. The dean turned to Hayes. "Your position is terminated, effective immediately." Hayes stood frozen, face pale, mouth open, unable to breathe. And Elijah, the dean continued gently, if you want, I would like to offer you a fully funded return to the PhD program and a research position, starting tomorrow. Elijah froze. Stunned. Sophia stepped closer, smiling warmly. You're too brilliant to hide in a broom closet. Let us bring you back. His eyes filled with tears he couldn't hold back. For the first time in 15 years he felt seen, really seen. He nodded. I'd like that. Cheers erupted. Students surrounded him, praising him, shaking his hand, thanking him. Sophia touched his arm gently. And if anyone ever tries to humiliate you again, they'll answer to me. Elijah let out a soft, shaky laugh. The life he thought he'd lost forever returned in a single night, not because he wanted glory, but because he couldn't let another person belittle him or anyone else ever again. And somewhere in the back of the room, Hayes stood alone, a mirror of every arrogant person who thought intelligence lived only in titles and suits. Elijah walked out of the lecture hall, taller than when he entered, a janitor. Yes, but also a genius, a survivor, a man reborn. Moral: never underestimate someone because of their job, their clothes, or their silence. Brilliance can be hidden in the most unexpected places. Respect people, you never know whose mind could change the world.